Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second season of Tell Me That. In this season, we will be asking my dad all questions that we have about life. These can be questions about career, personal development, or relationships, or whatever we can think of. So if you're interested in what my dad has to share this time, then stay tuned. Hello, Dad.
Hi, son, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Well, not bad at all. Good news, my voice this time is much better than last time because last time I had such a terrible cold. But as you know, I don't want to disappoint you, and whenever we
There you
can do
go.
a podcast, we
Yeah.
take the chance. No question about it. So, what are you up to today?
Well, of course, I have a new question for you prepared.
Oh,
Last time we
yeah,
talked about career and ambition, and I thought this time um,
and
we
passion.
might switch it up a bit. Passion, yeah,
Hmm.
we might switch it up, and we talk about personal growth and character. And the question I have prepared for you today is: what values guided you through difficult times?
Well, this is a difficult question, because
Yes, of
in
course.
this
I only
world
ask
there
you this
there are
difficult questions.
yeah. All right. In this world there are people that are real that I mean dumb like a brick,
Yeah,
people that are rude, and they still get anywhere. See Donald
yeah.
Trump. I mean,
For
this is
example.
just amazing. However, you asked the question, how did I get where I am today?
Yeah.
um,
How did you get through difficult
uh,
times? What was important to you?
Through difficult times, what was important to me? Yeah, yeah. Well, it is a difficult question, and just from the top of my head to give you uh, the best answer is difficult, but I'm gonna give my best. Well, for me, it was always as an employee, but also at later date as a director or as a CEO or as a board member. To me, it was always important that my colleagues and my employees, they were loyal and they were honest, always honest to me. You see, people can make mistakes
Yeah.
and they can stand up to it and they say, well, I made a mistake. You see, I goofed up and sorry, but I'm going to get on to it again now and I'm going to correct that mistake. And
Yeah.
I tell you, this is an attitude. It is chapeau. This is great. But it takes a lot of personal strength to do that. It is much easier to lie. To say, well, I didn't do that. It was, I don't know, someone else. Um,
Yeah.
I went through that. I met both types of people. And um, so I always was honest to my
Honesty. Yeah.
employees, colleagues, but also to my superiors. And sometimes it got me in deep shit, I tell you. Really, it's.
Yeah.
Um, I still remember one. You don't mind if I give you an example.
No, that's good if you give examples.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I still remember one case when it was actually the chairman of the board. It is like 35 years ago, 30 to
Yeah.
35 years ago.
Yeah.
I was a young director responsible for a big sales area, including also Russia. And at that time, um, people from Russia, they always came to see us as a delegation, always three, four, five people.
Hmm.
And you had to please these people in several ways. But important was you had to pick them up from the airport, you have to bring them to the hotel, you have to do a shopping tour with them, and that always required a car.
Yeah.
So I well, it was a big company I was working for at the time, a real big company. I called the central garage that had all the company cars. I was responsible for all the company cars, and I said, "Well, I need a nice big company car for tomorrow because we have very important people here, you know. So, and I have to
Yeah.
drive them to Cologne. We want to do some shopping, and so what would you have available?" And he said, "Well, there is no car available, and the two cars we have, I need them as a kind of a safety cushion for really important people, you know."
Okay.
And I said, "Well, young man, I tell you one thing. These are really important people. I am negotiating like a 15 million Deutschmark project with them right now."
Wow.
And he said, "Well, I don't care. You know, I mean, you have to call my superior, or you can call the CEO, and because I don't accept any orders from you." I mean, Germans, you know, Germans.
Yeah,
They don't
sure.
think, you know, they
100%.
just
Yeah.
Germans. They change. You see, you give them an order, they move. You put them into a uniform, they become a different person. You know, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Germans are very difficult to guide. You know, well, anyway, so I called the CEO of the company, who became later on actually the chairman of the board. You know,
Oh, really?
very ambitious, relatively young man at that time. He was in his I would say in his early or mid 40s. Very well
Okay.
educated, very wise for his age. You know, so um, he. He said, "Well, did you check with the garage? You know, they have these cars. I'm not really the guy that makes cars available. You know, it's not my job here in this company. I'm the CEO."
Yeah.
I
Right.
said, "Well, sorry about that, but I have a real problem. You know, I have this delegation from Russia here, and I want to really give my best, you know, to get this big order." And he said, "Well, call these guys from the garage and be firm with them, explain it to them, and this is your call, it's not my call, you know." And I
Yeah.
said, "Well, the heck with it. Then I take my private car," and I hung up.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was not a good thing to do. It was not a good thing to do because just 1 hour later, and I was regretting this whole thing, you know. 1 hour later, well, it was on the phone, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
when I talked to him. So 1 hour later, between his office and my office, there was a long aisle,
Mm-hmm.
and he got out of his office, I got out of my office, and we
Yeah.
had a distance of about 30 meters, you know, and we walked towards each other, you know. And I thought,
Yes.
holy cow, what the guy is going to fire you on the spot, you know. Anyway, so before he even could say a word, I said, uh, well, I call him Mr. S, okay?
Yeah. Miss
I
S.
could
Yeah.
use any
Yeah.
names here.
Sure.
I
Sure.
said, "Mr. S, first of all, before you say anything, I want to apologize. What I did was just very unprofessional, and I should choose my words and arguments much better, you know. And I made a mistake, and just forgive me about it. You know, I get a car, don't worry about it. And it was, in the first place, it was foolish to call you because of this damn company car. Sorry about
Yeah.
this, and it's never going to happen again." And he looked at me, and I thought, "Oh boy, now you're gonna get it. You know, that guy is gonna really beat you up now."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, that was a great answer. You know, that was good. I like it. Go
Yeah.
on and get your car, and great. When people make a mistake and they stand up to it and they are willing to correct it, I love it. These are the people I need in this company." He turned around and he went. You know, he left.
Great.
So. Um, and that actually, it was a big lesson for me, you know, because when you make mistakes or when you overreact and just stand up to it, uh, go to your opposite, talk to him, and if you make a mistake, apologize and correct the mistake. And so, what I want to say is to be authentic,
Yeah.
never put on an act. This is very important, because people sooner or later they're gonna identify, what kind of actor you are, and they're just gonna trust you. It's not a basis for confidence. Be
Yeah.
honest.
Get it.
Being honest, it makes people in the long run, trust you. That
Yeah.
know exactly that what you say, this is it. There is no, well, turning around. Look what Donald Trump does. I mean, you cannot trust that guy. He tells you
You cannot
today. He
predict what
tells
he's
you
going to do.
white. You cannot predict what he's going to do. And
No.
look at the position that he's in. The guy can start World War III tomorrow, and he
Oh
probably
yeah.
enjoys it. So
Yeah.
it
There's
is
actually a video
difficult.
now
So
coming out
so
of
be
him walking together with Putin. They met,
Yeah, well,
and
these guys.
they
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
look like
right.
best friends. Honestly, it's insane.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, how can they be best friends? They could
Yeah.
be
I
best
don't know.
enemies, but
Yeah.
not best friends. Last week, I I saw part of an interview, and he was interviewed about climate change and all that, and that the oceans are raising up, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's going to be a disaster. And you know what he said? He said, "Well, the oceans are raising. What is the problem? It gives the people that have a piece of lawn on the seaside, it gives them more space in the future. So, I mean, it's
More
exactly
space?
the
Like
opposite,
what? Underwater or
So
what?
he said if the ocean raises like an eighth of an inch, it gives the people more space, and and I mean, it is exactly the opposite. It takes
Yeah.
land
Yes.
away.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
he was under the impression that people they gain land. So the most simple issues, whether it's geography, mathematics, whatever you call it, it's. I mean, his basic knowledge is kind of weak. The
Oh yeah, it's
only
very shocking. Yeah.
thing, yeah, the only thing that makes him strong is um, fear,
Yeah.
fear. You know, and this is something I have another very very good example about this. But first, let me finish um, uh, uh, about my personal
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
items. So it's authentic. You have to be authentic. You have to be honest, so people can trust you. They can rely on you, and so this is very important. But there is one thing that I have put a lot of value to, and that is um, being loyal.
Hmm.
You see,
Yeah.
this word loyalty, it has a very high meaning for me, because it means when people are really loyal to you, it makes your position stronger. When I
Yeah.
started my company in Düren, I had five. I started the company with 5 people,
Yeah.
and these 5 people were totally loyal to me. There was one young designer that just wanted to be part of this venture. He said,
Yeah.
I want to be part of that. And I told him, young man, it is a big risk, because We start a brand new company with a crazy idea. We have money for like 6, 7 months. After that, it might well be that you are just sitting on the street. You are
Yeah.
married. You have a little kid, and and you're going to be out of a job. So think twice. And he said, "No, I trust you. If
Wow.
you start this company, I want to be part of that." And he started this company with me, and he was probably one of the most valuable employees I ever had in my life, because that young man was absolutely loyal. If someone would say something negative about me, like,
Yeah.
I had a joint venture with another company, and
Sure.
sometimes people, they play games, politics and so on, and this young fellow was standing in front of me like a young lion, unbelievable. So
Wow.
this is the type of people that you want to work with. So you don't have uh, the the problem that you have to watch these guys all the time. They
Yeah.
they being afraid that you end up with a knife in your back. So
Yeah.
loyalty is extremely important. I always was loyal to my superiors in the first place.
Yeah.
That's very important, and they knew that. They knew that, and they actually, well, at the end of the day, they actually paid for it. I got better positions. I got
Yeah.
super jobs, overseas. I was the one they selected to be put in a very critical situation where they needed to have a person they can really trust. And and in these positions, you only put people that are loyal to you.
Yeah.
So loyalty both ways is also very important. And if you do your professional work, or if you walk your professional way, um, and you follow these three um, rules, I would say you have a very solid basis to uh, end up in a high position. But there is this but you always have to watch people. There are
Yeah.
too many people around that try to, as they say here in Germany, to cut the legs off your chair.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it is really important that you have to keep your eyes open. So being loyal, this the third item, is also very important. Of course, in addition to these three items, um, you have to be qualified. You have to have an education. You have to
Sure.
be.
Absolutely.
You have to have know-how. You have to. You see, at the time when I was growing up in my professional life, it was to at the end of the day to become a manager. It was still important to also have very detailed product know-how.
Yeah.
And this product knowledge, it was just expected, because every CEO and every managing director had product knowledge. When you wanted to sell a machine tool to um, a company like Siemens, and you were in front of let's say, the manager of the manufacturing department. Whoa, I tell you, that guy, he knew machines in and out, and he asked questions that put sweat on your forehead. So,
Yeah.
um, well, but you see, times have changed.
Yeah.
Um, it the last decades, uh, companies have separated this product know-how to management skills.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, product know-how, the guys that want to deal with products, with the bearings and gears and all this bullshit,
Yeah.
they can do it and they can enjoy it and they can develop the best products in the world. Of course, for this also, you have to follow certain rules. Yeah.
Sure.
And management skills is a totally different issue. When I grew up in my professional life, when you wanted, for instance, when you wanted to sell a big machine tool to companies like ThyssenKrupp, the manager
Yeah.
of uh, this big facility in Dortmund, uh, he was an engineer and he knew machine tools in and out. Today, the manager, the managing director of the same facility, when you go to see him and you want to talk to him about this machine tool that you would like to sell to them, he says,
Yeah.
"Well, I mean, please don't bother me with that stuff. There is Mr. Schmitz or Mr. Meyer. They take care of this,
Yeah.
that's it, So he concentrates on the whole company, and the whole company means not that one machine tool. The whole company
Yeah.
means the building, the machine tools, and the people. People make the
Sure.
difference, and that's his main job, to find the right people to run this place. So, um, again, to summarize, um, honesty, loyalty. This is extremely important, and
Yeah.
and this combined with still good know-how about what you want to sell, or what you are doing, or what you are in the company for. This is very important. uh, Even top managers today, they should have a minimum amount of know-how about the company, about the products,
Sure.
um, because every young fellow that is with the company for like 3, 4, 5 years, he knows more about the products than he does. So again, this is what I think the basis for the success that I had. Whether that works with every person, or whether um, this is a general rule, I don't know. I have seen people in my life that um, being authentic and being honest and being loyal to the employees and to customers, to their superiors, they have made a brilliant career. I have
Yeah.
also met people in my life that were like crooks. I mean, little Donald Trumps. And also
Yeah.
they went up and they uh, became managers. But one thing was for sure, it was not for a long time. These people, they kind of ended up like job hoppers.
Yeah.
They start with a
Yeah.
company and they use their elbows for like 3 years and they sign a contract to increase profitability by 10%. And you can do that. If you are rude, you just, I mean, make 10% of the employees redundant and you save a hell of a lot of money, at least at the moment.
Yeah.
But in 2 3 years, it's going to come back. But at that time, these guys switch again and they are going to another company, to
Right.
start
Right.
their game all over again. So I don't believe in these people, and I don't think that these are the people that make companies strong and that make a country strong. And you will see also. also, I mean, my favorite president, Donald Trump. I don't think that he is going to last for long. I think I think that one of these days, and I don't even think it's going to take that long. I think he is going to be eliminated by his own people because,
Maybe.
uh, well, maybe, but some things they are actually making me believe that this is going to happen because economy in the United States is not really booming.
Yeah. Yeah.
His games with import taxes, the increase of import taxes.
Yeah. That
What
that
the
was
hell is
ridiculous.
that? The import tax has
That's
to be paid
ridiculous.
by his
Yeah.
own people.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous, but one of these days that is going to come back, and the time is is uh, for advantage of the other countries because they are working on that
Yeah.
situations. They are making kind of joint ventures with other uh, um, countries. They're making trade unions and so on. And um, I don't think that he is gonna survive this game that he's playing. And what he's doing now with Putin, this is just. I mean, I could just throw up, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
ugly. It's so respectless to the people of the Ukraine. It's unbelievable. And the Europeans, okay, they have been sleeping for at least 50 years, relying on the United States, the big partners, and just trusting them, and they're going to protect us. It's much cheaper than investing in our own systems. So
Yeah.
that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake, and it was so damn stupid. But you can't turn time back. Now we have to get our ass together, and just uh, turn the steering wheel around and invest and become a reliable European Union again. Right now we are just a bunch of countries that each one is trying to kiss Mr. Trump's ass, and
Yeah.
that is no good. This is
Other question, what about your personal life? Because you talked about your career and how that has helped you there, but you also, as we learned in season 1, you had quite a few difficult situations personally. You lost your father when you were very young, and you also split from your first wife. So what has helped you in these times?
well, well. Hey, tough questions you are coming up with, but
Yeah, right.
um, well, my personal life. You are right. I was 14 years old when my dad died, and I had a very good relationship to my dad. He was a very loyal person, loyal to
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
and he was a very honest person. That's why a lot of people took advantage of him. Yeah. So, but anyway, um, it was quite a shock when I lost my dad, and but I realized how valuable he was. I realized that when I was much older, because when you are
yeah.
14 years old, you are not really mentally
No,
um,
sure. You're a child.
uh, grown enough that
Sure.
you really understand the full impact of that. So
Yeah,
um, anyway, at that time, uh, when I was 14, 15 years old, there was one person I was extremely um, loyal to. That was my mom. She was always um, taking care of her three sons. And I mean, it's just incredible. He just had a small pension from my dad. and my dad left a four apartments house that he built himself,
Yeah.
but it was not quite finished yet at the time. But I mean, the income, and it was completely financed. Yeah. My mom had to pay a big loan back.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
um, every day she had fresh food on the table. We were not starving. I mean, she could make from nothing. She could just create something. But um, I must say, I don't know if I ever told you that story. When I was 14 years old, a friend of mine, his dad, they had a junkyard, and they were collecting, because I mean it was not that far after World War II, and um, metal and paper, this was all very valuable. So and this friend of mine, um, he at least twice or three times a week he could have a big carriage with four wheels, and we went into town and we knocked on the door of shops, and we were collecting paper. And so but by doing that, we always got for each one of us like 5 6 Deutschmarks, which was, I mean, a fortune. When I got home, I gave all the money to my mom, and she said, "Well, one Deutschmark is for you, and you buy something nice for yourself." So, but that shows the level of loyalty and how I cared about her and also my family. Um, and I think that gave me a lot of strength. Uh, you see, it's being responsible for, or feeling responsible for something is, I like that feeling. When I was managing big companies, I felt totally responsible for these people. But um, being the way I was, uh, your private life, it suffers a little bit, because you cannot be loyal to several parties at the same time. This is kind of screw you up, and it's difficult. And um, when I was in my early 20s, I got married first time. Well, at that time, I picked the wrong partner, but I realized that at a way too late. So and then you try to save whatever you can, and you go on with that situation for years. And but um, well, one day I just couldn't live that life anymore, because um, I was looking way beyond the plate I was sitting at, and my wife was looking at a 8 to 5 job for
Yeah.
me. Then I come home, then I do the lawn, and I mean, this is just, I mean, it was uh, for me it was like being in jail. So I and there was no way to kind of change that situation, and talk to her, and make her change. But it was kind of my mistake. I shouldn't have get into that marriage at the first place. But anyway, so if you pick a partner, uh, be sure that, I mean, take your time.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
very important. So, and then we separated, and it was kind of I mean, besides starting the company and all that, but this personal issues, it was kind of difficult. was difficult. However, um, back to my mom again. At that time, I I left the house. I left the house and everything we had to my ex-wife, and I went to my mom. She not with one word. She did ask what happened, what did you do, and can we solve that situation? Never. The only thing she said is, up there is an apartment. You can live, you can sleep, and every morning at 8 o'clock here is breakfast. Got that? Okay. And that was it. She never talked to me about the personal issues. And this is also some kind of loyalty. Um she was just trusting me that I was doing the right thing, and that gave me a lot of strength because she was trusting me. She gave me at least for a certain period, a certain time. She gave me a new personal base because I was starting from scratch, and it was not easy, but um, all the ups and downs I went through in my life, they they make you strong to some extent. They make you strong, and so at the end of the day, well, I mean, my first reaction after I was divorced was so women, yes, to have fun. Getting into a marriage, never
Yeah,
ever
well, that
again.
didn't work out.
So 2 years later, I met. Well, it didn't work out. 2 years later, I met
Yeah.
your mom, and then I met someone who was exactly the opposite. Who actually could listen, help me, gave me good advice, and I mean, and was a good friend. It was not my favorite enemy.
Yeah.
It was my
Yeah.
friend. A real friend, a person that I could trust, a person that I just was. I mean, well, I never thought that women like that exist. But
Don't get too much into that because I will ask a question about that as well.
okay, 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 but not
Not
this
this
time,
time, no.
right?
That
Okay,
will be a whole
all
episode.
right. So okay,
Yeah.
oh, well, anyway, I would say um, the you see to separate professional life and personal life is kind of
Yeah.
difficult. Well, in my
Yeah.
life, it was
Yeah.
always difficult because professional life and personal life, it was just one deal, and and the again the ups and downs I went through in my professional life, they had some impact to my personal life, and at the time when I made really a career as a CEO and as a board member for an American company with your mom in my back as a friend, it was just great. But anyway, we need
Sure,
to get to
we
the
will.
point, I guess. So um, yes, your personal life. I had well. Uh, Again, loyalty and honesty um, in your personal life. I made some experiences last year when I went
Yeah.
through that terrible cancer experience, and um, unfortunately, I had to experience that some of my in quotation marks good old friends, they just disappeared. There were only a few left at the end of the day, but when you are a person that has cancer and you don't know how it ends up, people just turn
Yeah.
away. They don't want to deal with someone that's ill or sick, has cancer. Ooh, it might be even
Yeah, it might be contagious.
You never know. Um, so, yeah, right. So um, uh, that was a tough experience for me. But again, to have the few people left in my life that were always honest to me, always loyal to me, it was worth it, And I must say, uh, I'm very grateful for that experience. So um, now, once in a while, I meet these people and we have great chats, great talks, and it's so valuable, because these people I know are honest, are authentic, and they're
Great.
loyal.
Great. As always, great
So this
advice.
is
Great
this
input.
is yeah. Well, advice is kind of a dangerous
Yeah.
word, because advice you can give
Yeah.
advice, but it doesn't really is not the key for
Sure.
success. It depends on my advice is just an input that should make you
Yeah.
think.
Get it.
But at the end of the day, you create your own
Yeah.
future. But these basic rules, being authentic, being honest, being loyal, I think this works for everybody.
Well,
So,
that
my son,
great session.
I think we have used up our
Yeah,
time
well,
now.
we have a good bit.
Anyway, so, son, have fun. I cross my fingers for
And
your
you.
next week. I hope you make
Yeah,
some great experiences. And
for
to
sure.
the guys and girls outside that are listening to our podcast, I hope it's not too boring for you. And again, if you have any questions, if we help you with something or just chat a little bit, let us know and we'll get back to you. Okay, take care. All the best to everybody.
Bye bye. See you. Thank you everyone for listening to this episode. If you're interested in what my dad has to share next time, then make sure to tune in again next week. And if you have any questions that you want my dad to answer, then please feel free to send them to us. Hope to see you next week. Bye bye.